Hi, this is Jason Nickleby, Assistant Director with the Minnesota State High School League, and this is football officiating training tape number 4. Off to a good start with the season, but definitely some things that we can clean up. Make sure we are reviewing the quizzes, take a look at the memorandums and some of the pieces that are in those. Again, uh, those are all pieces that we have seen so far this season where we've had some confusion or maybe incorrectly enforced a rule, uh, mechanics, any of those kinds of things. So just really encourage you to take a look at the quizzes, at the memos, at these tapes, and have some discussions as a crew with our pregame so that we can hopefully avoid some of these mistakes as the season continues and then we go into the postseason. So again, when we're looking at these plays, not picking on any one official or crew, player, or team, just trying to learn from these plays and how do we get better from one week to the next. So with that, let's take a look at some plays. Okay, in this first one, just a reminder on a rule and then mechanics. So first, you'll see the quarterback is in shotgun formation, and he receives the snap, and as that motion man comes across, he kind of flicks the ball forward. Um, and if you deem that the quarterback or the person that receives the snap gains control of the ball and then kind of flicks it forward like that or drops it out of their hands, and it's not a true handoff, then that is a forward pass. So if this were to hit the ground, this would be an incomplete forward pass. So referees, you're primary on this. Umpires, you certainly can help, but just be ready for this kind of play. Can catch us off guard, and all of a sudden the ball's on the ground and everybody's chasing it, and we're like, wait a minute, what just happened? So be ready for this. I think he controls it and then moves it forward, and we would have an incomplete pass if this were to hit the ground, but it didn't. So, move on with the play, but just a reminder on that. And then, secondly, related to that, let's say this running back decides, you know what, I'm not going to make it without getting tackled, so he stops and throws the ball. Well, that would be a second forward pass during the down, so that would be an illegal forward pass. So, just something to keep in mind that just even though it's just going forward just a little bit, it's still a forward pass. And then our coverage on this line of scrimmage is excellent. Do a nice job. Don't get fooled by the block on the edge for holding. Um, keeps his feet, no material restrictions, so we're good there. And then we are out of bounds. We let the play develop in front of us, and then we come down, kill the clock, and face players out of bounds. So this is excellent coverage and mechanics and judgment by the line of scrimmage official on this play. Okay, mechanics on this one. So we're going to have a play that stretches out to the top of the screen towards the chain side, and the down judge in this case, um, we let the play develop in front of us. We probably need to get further back in the backfield a little bit sooner, just from a safety standpoint. We don't want to get rolled over. Um, but we do get back into the backfield and let this play develop in front of us, and then officiate it from behind. But maybe try to get back there a little bit sooner just from a safety perspective. And then we're communicating using the O2O system, which is great. So that's all good. We're indicating that the clock should continue to run, which is also excellent. So we do a nice job with that. And we clear players, dead ball officiating, excellent. But this is a play where we could use cross-field mechanics. So if you're the down judge in this case, once you clear all of the players in the dead ball action, you're going to look across the field to your line of scrimmage partner on the other side, and they will have picked up forward progress, and then you just mirror them. You don't have to worry about the spot at all. Now, in this case, because it's only 3 yards away from the covering official. If you just want to take it without crossfield mechanics, that's totally fine. But just note that anytime we have a play where they're pushed back and working it from behind, and there's forward progress, especially on a pass play near the sideline, that's maybe 8, 9, 10 yards downfield, that is a great opportunity to use crossfield mechanics. Don't worry about the spot, officiate the players, deal with clock status, and then look across the field and pick up your sideline partner or your wing partner on the other side. Okay, want to use this one as a reminder on our running time mercy rule. So 35-point spread in the fourth quarter. We will only stop the clock for tips events, which is team timeouts, injuries, penalties, or scores. All other occurrences in the game, we're going to leave the clock running. So even if we have a turnover, we're going to keep the clock running in that case. Um, Games can be shortened by mutual agreement of the coaches and the referee. So if they want to shorten it to say 8 minutes for a quarter or something like that, they can do that, but they cannot change clock rules. So let's say it's 56-0 at halftime and they want to have 2 8-minute quarters, third and fourth quarters. They can do that, but the third quarter has to be regular timing rules. We cannot go to running time in the third quarter. So again, reminder on mercy rule language, make sure that we work with the game clock operators, talk to them about that because they might go quite a while without ever seeing one. Same for you. Review the mercy rule document on the central hub that has a chart of situations of how to implement the mercy rule. So make sure that you review that. But it's just a reminder on tips. That's the only time we're stopping the clock. And you can shorten quarters, but you cannot change clock rules. Reach out to a coordinator if you have any questions about the mercy rule. But this is just a reminder for that as we move forward. And one last thing, we're going to utilize our same mechanics regardless of whether it's running time. So you see here, we use the stop the clock signal for a first down, which is what we would normally do. Same if it goes out of bounds, we'd use that signal, incomplete pass, all those kind of things. We'd use the same mechanics. We don't change that, but that's why we need to have a conversation with the game clock operator to make sure that they know the clock should continue to run even though we use those signals. And we do a nice job of that in this particular instance. Okay, in this one, I want to talk about considerations for contact with a defenseless receiver. So let's start with the rule. Remember, we're really focusing on Rule 943, making sure that we're on top of that kind of contact. We need to get 943 contact out of the game. Um, that's just stuff that is not part of football, those kinds of fouls. And we just need to be diligent in calling those. And as you saw on the app, we had several plays from different parts of the country, but also here in Minnesota, where we've struggled with Rule 943, particularly with contact against a defenseless receiver. So remember by rule that defenseless receivers, whether it's an offensive receiver or even a defensive back that's trying to make a play on the ball, they're defenseless by rule because of their focus of concentration. They're not preparing for contact, they're trying to catch the ball. Because they're defenseless, they can only be contacted with force when the contact is initiated with open hands or they use a wrap-up tackle. Any other forceful contact against a defenseless receiver is a foul. And we need to call those. And as you saw again on those examples on the app, we have receivers who have not had a chance to clearly become a runner. Um, if they're not clearly a runner, they're still defenseless. So any forceful contact to them, even if it's not targeting, is still a foul. Now, in this case, an argument could be made that number 4 is trying to play the ball. However, in the judgment of the back judge, this was forceful contact against the defenseless receiver, and a foul was called for illegal personal contact, which I absolutely support. And we will support illegal personal contact fouls 100% of the time. We need to err on the side of safety. Again, when we're talking about safety related fouls, if we're not sure, throw the flag. If we're not sure on holding or a formation or something like that, then we're going to leave those alone. But if we think at all that it is forceful contact that is not initiated with open hands or a wrap up tackle against a defenseless receiver, we need to have a flag on the ground. And we do in this case, and we will absolutely support it because from the back judge's view, it sure looks like number 4 puts a shoulder right through the back of this defenseless receiver and calls him for illegal personal contact. And again, I understand if an argument can be made that number 4 was trying to play the ball, but we are always going to support safety related fouls. And it's just a reminder, if a defenseless receiver tries to make a play on the ball, they cannot be contacted with force unless the contact is initiated with open hands or a wrap up tackle. Okay, a couple things on this sequence. First, we have a timeout. We don't talk about timeouts very often. They seem pretty mundane, but how we handle them certainly can cause issues if we don't communicate very well. We don't realize the team's out of timeouts. We don't tell them how many they have left, etc. And then we do a nice job of letting them know where they belong during the timeout. And then referees making sure that we announce timeout, Staples Motley, their first of the half, and then give 3 pointing swipes or motions to the offensive side of the formation when we have a timeout. So just a reminder on that. And then on this play, we have a flag from the back judge on the contact at the end of the play here. And we're going to get into the aspects of legal personal contact and targeting here. But we're going to have a very good announcement by the referee. Make sure we get all the information first.
Big double screen.
Personal foul, defense number 4, 15-yard penalty, your first down.
So nicely done there. Just a couple things to think about, referees. One, again, make sure we get all the information before we turn the mic on. Second, we should go with personal foul targeting defense number 4, and then we can do 15-yard penalty results in a first down and so on. Now, that's probably because targeting may have not been reported to the referee, and that's why we didn't use it in the announcement, which is okay. If it was just personal foul, fine, then that's what we're going to announce. But make sure we get that information from the calling official. And then as for the contact itself, this is clearly a targeting foul, and we do an excellent job here, back judge, of picking up this foul. This is a safety foul. Again, 9-4-3, definitely a focus that we need to be on top of. And there's some contact by 54 with number 4, but by then number 4 is already committed, is already taking aim, and uh, puts the helmet right into um, the helmet of number 10. It's a crown shot right to the chin. This is absolutely targeting, and had we gone with an ejection on this, we would have for sure supported that. Remember, with targeting, it is a player taking aim, initiating forceful contact to the head or neck area of an opponent, even if they're a runner, regardless of what they use, whether it's a helmet or a shoulder, forearm. This player clearly takes aim. The indicator is when he dips his head. So again, we don't have the word indicator in the high school rules book, but it's a pretty good, it gives you a pretty good idea that a targeting foul potentially could occur. And we see that dipping action. He's taking aim. He initiates forceful contact to the head and neck area above the shoulders. This is definitely a targeting foul. Glad we have a flag down. We would support ejection. And remember, when we were telling the coach about what occurred, do not use helmet to helmet contact because not all helmet to helmet contact is a foul. Use initiated forceful contact above the shoulders using the helmet. That would be the rule. That would be the language you should use. Um, if it's crown of the helmet to any other part of the body, that is a spearing foul. So if this were to occur in the chest, that would be a spearing foul. So still a foul, still one we would support ejection on, and in many cases, this is to help prevent injuries for the player delivering the hit. This player using the crown like this certainly could have hurt his neck, having it compressed and so on. So outstanding job by the back judge here of getting this flag down. This is absolutely a targeting foul and one that we want called. And if ejection was part of that, we would support that as well. Okay, just a mechanics piece on this one. Coming down to the end of the first quarter, and we're going to have an option play out to the top of the screen right at the down judge. So um, just like the play we had earlier in this tape, we need to recognize um, that this play is developing our way, and we need to really move into the offensive backfield um, and get back as far as we can to let the play develop in front of us. One, it's going to be much better officiating from there. Secondly, we're going to be a lot safer. Um, Third, we need to, as we're making our way back, we need to punch this back as a backwards pass. We need to punch it. So remember to use that mechanic when it comes your way. You are the primary as the line of scrimmage official, so you need to punch as a backwards pass. And then we need to get coaches out of our working area. This should be a sideline warning for the coaches. They do not belong in your office. That's your office. They're not coming into your office and you're not going into theirs necessarily. So this is a sideline warning because if we would have backed up to where we belong, we would have for sure run into that coach. So make sure that they are not there. And then finally, it appears that we do use crossfield mechanics here, but if we work deep into the offensive backfield, we're probably going to use crossfield mechanics on this one, or at least we might. And it looks like we do. We wind the clock, which is great, and then we look across and pick up our sideline partner. But again, because we're so close, we probably can pick up the spot, but we really should be working deep into the offensive backfield. Let the play develop in front of you, punch the backwards pass, wind the clock, officiate the dead ball action, and then we can worry about the spot at that point. On this one, we're going to have an interception return for a touchdown. So let's talk coverage on interception. So we do a nice job of maintaining the line of scrimmage until a pass is imminent, and then we start to move downfield, see it's intercepted, then we let the play develop in front of us going back the other direction, and we officiate it um, from behind, and we stay deep in the white, which is excellent. Great positioning, great mechanics, line of scrimmage, down judge on this play, and then from a referee and umpire perspective, remember we've talked about the fact that we would like the umpire to cover the goal line. And referee, we'd like you to stick with the quarterback because anytime we have interceptions, that is a prime time for them to seek that player out and really light them up. So we need you to keep an eye on them, and then we're going to have umpire get to the goal line and officiate blocks out front. Because you see here, the referee gets there, which is fine, but we have two officials at the goal line, and we'd rather have the umpire uh, there handling that, and then the referee can handle the quarterback. And then remember, anytime we have a touchdown, we're going to act like we have a video camera in our belt buckle, and we're going to turn and face players because if they spike it, if they throw it into the crowd, or get hit late or whatever it happens to be, we need to be able to see that. So make sure that we turn and face players, and then we can worry about the football and getting it placed for the try and all those kinds of things. So we cover this well. Just some thoughts for the referee and the umpire relative to coverage, and making sure that we are using proper dead ball officiating. So this is the try right after the interception we just had. And you have a defense that's not really thrilled about that, and you just need to be on high alert for contact with the kicker, with the holder, other personal fouls. Not that they're going to do it, but you just need to be on high alert. In this case, the player trying to block the kick wipes the kicker out. And we get contact with the kicking leg for sure, but we also make some contact with the plant leg as well. So we would want roughing the kicker in this case. And anytime you're not sure, let's go with 15. But remember considerations for running and roughing. We've talked about this previously that if we make contact with the kicking leg, we're going to go with running. If it's the plant leg, we're going to go with roughing. And if it's just a blow up hit, even if it's not with either leg, we're going to go with roughing in that case. So keep that in mind, referees. Um, Relative to field goals and tries, and then umpire on punts, you would be involved with running and roughing as well. So keep that in mind. In this case, we believe that the contact is with the plant leg and it's fairly significant, and so we would support roughing the kicker in this case. Okay, we've talked fairly extensively about illegal block below the waist, and who can do it, who can't, um, when that has to take place, where it has to take place. And so, we've been really harping on safety related fouls, and we need to be on top of those. Um, Remember, if they're not in the free blocking zone on the line of scrimmage, don't do it right away. Um, Against a player who's also on the line of scrimmage in the free blocking zone, if they don't do it that way, it's a foul. So in this case, watch number 60, who is the right tackle. He's going to come out to the second level and he's going to go low on his opponent. Um, this is tough to see from referee or umpire, because it gets to that second level, and so uh, more pointing this out from a run coverage standpoint by back judges, make sure that as back judges, when it's a running play, we don't fall asleep. We really need to officiate the second level um, on blocks because it's going to be very difficult for referees and umpires to pick that up. If line of scrimmage, if you can get in there, fine, but if this is going to get called, it's going to have to be by the back judge. So just remember low blocks, where they can occur, who can do them, when, how fast, etc. And if they don't fit that criteria, it is a foul for an illegal block below the waist. And um, in my view, this is an illegal block below the waist. Even though number 10 sticks his hands out to try to brace for contact, the contact is still initiated below the waist by right tackle number 60 against his opponent. He gets him right in the shin and knee, almost kind of turns into a leg whip of sorts. So be alert for that also. So back judges, stay alert and really focus in on blocks on running plays, especially those that develop up the middle at the second level. On this last one, we have outstanding scrimmage kick coverage and a outstanding call. So we're in great initial position, all of us. We transition through the scrimmage kick very well, and then you'll see right as the receiver gets the ball, there's going to be a block in the back, and so we're going to have a good announcement by the referee.
Let's be a block in
During
the
the
back.
return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 6. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. The first down, minute.
So excellent, very nicely done. That tells me that as a crew, we were communicating the proper information for penalty enforcement. So we need to know the result of the play. When did the foul occur? So in this case, the block in the back does not occur until after the receiver is running upfield. So our announcement as referees would be, as this referee does, during the return. If it was during the kick, that would obviously have a different enforcement. So it's really important to get all of that information when we are providing that information to the referee. We need to have results of the play. When did the foul occur? Is it on the receiving team, kicking team, offense, defense? Um, all those kinds of things. The number, really important to get the correct number. And if we're not sure, don't guess. Just say illegal block in the back, receiving team. But outstanding call. Remember, when we're in chase mode, which we are here, any contact in the back when we're in chase mode is enough for an illegal block in the back. And you see right at the point of attack, right as the receiver goes upfield, we're going to have a receiving team player in chase mode, makes contact in the back, causes displacement, and this player misses the tackle as a result and is properly called for an illegal block in the back. So excellent mechanics and outstanding judgment and excellent penalty enforcement and reporting. Great job by the crew on this play. Okay, that will do it for training tape number 4. Again, focusing on safety, Rule 943, really dig into that. Make sure we're on top of that. Review the new rules. We've had some issues with forward fumble out of bounds situations, also formations and shifts. Let's discuss those and make sure we're on the same page. But ultimately, again, safety is our number one concern. So, doing a good job. Keep it up. Uh, Make sure we review these videos on the eligibility tab by October 8th and keep working through these things and the app stuff, quizzes, and so forth with your crews and pregame. And have a great game this weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.